Hey, welcome to Fair, Wealth, and Lazy. I'm Josh. And this
I'm
is
dying. Hey,
my wife.
yeah, it's me. So so we wanted to talk to you guys about our goals. We were talking earlier about what a goal is. Um, we all set like these big crazy goals, and then we struggle to follow through on them because a lot of times we don't have a plan. Um, and so, like we have big goals to lose weight, like get healthy, right?
Big goals.
Well, yeah, they are pretty big. But they don't happen overnight, right?
As much as you'd like them to. Like,
Right.
magic pill, weight gone.
It's like, ooh, I ate a salad. I'm 100 pounds lighter. Yay! Oh, if only. Um, but I had a small goal. Like you've got to set small goals to hit your big goals, right? I had a small goal this week, and I didn't really share my goal with Josh. But my goal was to lose 5 pounds because I felt like that was a good place to start. Um, and I actually lost 8.
Cool.
So that was really exciting. So that's given me
Yeah.
like this really cool like motivation to keep going because when you hit a small goal, you're like, score, I can do this. But without those small goals, and you're like, I'm never gonna hit that big goal. So,
Well, and see, I kind of approached it from a slightly different angle. Um, my my overall goal, of course, is to lose a bunch of weight, but I'm trying to do other like I have other goals too. So one of our big failings as parents is what we call make your own night, where
yeah.
we just don't get up and cook and everything. We might throw something together later, but the kids grab something out of the freezer or whatever. And so one of my goals, which I have actually managed to stay on track with, was to cook every day this week, and not let myself slack off on that. And
And hey, like our kids have actually tried some new things that
with
that we
mixed
know.
results, I mean,
Well, but they're trying stuff, and that's really cool because with the do-it-yourself night, they eat the same things every time. They
lots of
don't,
carbs.
yeah, a lot of carbs, and they don't diversify their foods or anything like that. And so then we're like, hey, why don't you guys try something new or whatever? And they're like, nah, just eat what we've always eaten. This is this works. This is whatever. Um, but with you cooking every night, um, and it's something different every night, and there's things like we're incorporating one or two things that we normally would not eat anyway.
Yeah.
And the kids are they're trying it, and yeah, mixed results. Like there's a lot of it's been met with I don't like it. But at least they're trying it. I remember being a kid, I hated everything. I was very picky. I mean, I'm still picky. I'm not even gonna lie. Anybody that knows me, I'm still picky. I
Is
still
that an
have
onion? Oh my god.
onions are nasty.
Oh, onions are good.
Whatever. Ugh. No, I can't. I just no. I can't. I was gonna try to be brave. That's why I encouraged you to buy onions when you went grocery shopping. I was like, yeah, go ahead and buy some onions, and I'm gonna go ahead and eat them. And now I'm scared. Like I don't
A
want
week
to.
later, they're still sitting on the counter
Yeah.
untouched.
I don't. Well, you're just gonna have to. You're gonna have to like push me into it because I just. So like I'm very picky, but as a teenager, like I allowed myself to try a couple of things, and so I'm not as picky as I was as a kid. but you know, so it certainly is making things easier staying on budget because I don't like all that weird, expensive, nasty stuff anyway. I'm
Yeah.
not.
Well, and that's one thing too, is that we've had to readapt our budget. And I mean, a budget is a goal too. And
Hmm.
you know, that's one thing starting out with a healthy change is that I'll be honest, it put a strain on the budget, and something that we've got to work on getting back on track with. Um, and that's another one of our long term goals is to keep get the budget under control and keep it that way. Um,
Yeah. Well, my birthday was last month, so that kind of added some expense to the grocery budget that we normally would not spend. So, when you take that into account, um, it, I don't know. I think little things here and there um, will help to trim that. And one of the ways it's helping is that we're not doing the whole short order cook thing with our kids this time, or like this month or whatever. We're trying it out, getting them to eat. So, like, our oldest, who is on the autism spectrum, he does not like anything other than ramen soup, toast, and like different types of chicken.
yeah.
Okay. And even then, there are limitations within the chicken. So,
yeah, he did not go for the honey pepper chicken.
ooh, the you'll pay for it later chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Um, so like he's super picky. So like he'll eat the protein that we make. But
Maybe.
he's well, for the most part. We typically what we end up doing is if it's a protein with a sauce, we have to take his out.
Yeah.
And then, fix up whatever it is that we're doing with it. So, I mean, he's still kind of eating the same thing. He doesn't have all the extra flavors and stuff that we get with it. But his carb, like he won't eat rice, but he won't eat brown rice especially. And so,
He only eats potatoes if they're fried.
yeah, he'll eat fried potatoes or ramen noodles or no, not and toast.
Yeah.
Um,
He makes these interesting ramen noodle
yeah,
sandwiches.
it's not very appetizing. But then somehow I still kind of am looking at that going, he really is making that ramen look really good. Ah. So he.
And we're not talking like fancy ramen. It's
No, we're talking like the
straight out the dollar for a case package.
And before we get all the hate messages, yes, I understand how much sodium is in that. But he'll eat the protein at least, so we're not spending money on a second protein source. And the baby, he'll eat just about anything we eat. He doesn't have a picky side yet. Really,
Except corn on the cob.
he does not like corn on the cob, which is fine because corn is probably something we need to limit in our diet anyway.
Yeah, we've avoided it.
Yeah, we have been avoiding that. But he's not very picky, so he'll eat whatever we fix. And our daughter is going on this journey with us, so she's eating what we're eating. And so really the 5-year-old is the only one that's kind of presented some challenges for us, but still getting everybody on the same menu has really helped in cutting some of the costs. And it kind of makes me think, why didn't we do this sooner? And what?
My chair. You had the broken mic last week. I have the broken chair this week. It's just slowly No, I'm as short as you are.
He's really a foot taller than me, so this is kind of funny that we're like right there together. But anyway, what were we talking about? Man.
Getting on, staying on budget with the
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, what he said. Yeah. No, the cost of food has always been something that has gotten in the way of us starting, right? Like every time we talk about doing it, and we've been talking about it for years. We've been married for over 17 years.
Well,
and we've been talking about it for years, but every time food's really expensive, and
it's kind of like we looked at, you go online and you look at eating on a budget and everything, and they always talk about eating for $3 a serving and all of that. It's like,
where the heck are you shopping? I want $3 a
50 cents a serving eating this, so.
Well, and the other day I was reading, I read an article, and I cannot remember who posted the article.
But there's a bunch of them out there.
But you can go to the FDA website to find the information, because they got their information from the FDA website. But FDA every month puts out a report on a recommended thrifty budget, and basically what they're saying is
in order to eat healthy, you should be
you should spend at least this
much
X amount of dollars or whatever. And that kind of, I was like, oh man, maybe we're not eating as healthy as I thought we were. Because
we're not hitting that number.
No, because we're a family of 6, and according to them, a family of 6, I think it came out to be $760 something dollars and some cents. And our budget is what?
Less than 600. I mean, right, yeah.
It's around 600, and I'm going, well, crap. But in the article, they were talking about, well, if you're not hitting that budget, then you're not buying you can still get
healthy.
Yeah, you can still get the nutritional things that you need to have in your diet. You're just not getting them from the more expensive premium cuts of meat or the premium vegetables or, whatever.
Which, interestingly enough, so talking about the premium cuts of meat and everything, for the longest time we bought the bagged frozen chicken, and thought that, okay, this is the economical way to eat chicken and all of this. And walking around the outside aisles, that's one of the things that they suggest, to stick to the outside, of course. I came across, fresh, boneless, skinless chicken breasts. That instead of being all frozen together in a bag, they, so the bags were 10 pounds. Well, these fresh packs were 5-pound packs. But when I did the math, it was just a little bit more.
Yeah, it was $1 or something, $2 at the most more to get the fresh cuts of meat. And the thing is you've been cooking with that meat all week, and we actually have leftovers. The pieces of chicken are
much
huge.
Less fat to trim off.
Oh my, yes, but the pieces of meat are huge, and portion control and all that stuff has been a big thing for us this week, and so
just take for instance, you buy the big 10-pound bag, and there might be 15, 16 breasts in there. Or what they were calling breasts, they're a little flat, whatever. To prepare a meal, I would have to pull out, 4 or maybe 5 of those for all of us. If I'm doing something where I'm cutting up the chicken,
If we were just baking the chicken, we were having to cook like six
Six
of
of 'em.
them. And then they would shrink down. They would shrink down to these like little, tiny little things. And I'm going, oh man, what is that? And
Whereas
it's flat.
I can feed all six of us on this fresh chicken on two breasts, and
They fat. And they don't shrink.
they don't shrink because there's
So
not
I
a
don't know
whole
what
lot
that stuff was. Maybe that stuff we were eating that was in the bag, maybe that wasn't really chicken.
or it's the extra fatty bits they're cutting off this other stuff, and then they're pounding it flat and freezing it, and so
Ugh. That doesn't sound good at all. No, basically what we were eating before was freezer burnt rubber, because by the time it sat in the freezer for a week, it was already freezer burnt. So, but we are making some discoveries that are really exciting with food. Like, I've always been afraid of brown rice because it's kind of holy. Is that even a word? Holy? Oh, I'm gonna make it a word.
Holly,
Holy. Hully.
not holy like Sunday.
Not holy. No. Not holy. Okay, sorry. I almost sang a song there. But I've always felt like it was kind of holy, and I think that I think I just had never had well prepared brown rice.
And the first day you still didn't.
Right, when I came home and you had surprised me with this, what was it, with the tacos and the lettuce.
Tacos with the lettuce, the
Lettuce shells. That was actually
and what
pretty
was
good.
supposed to be Spanish rice, but this guy didn't know how to cook brown rice, and yeah.
Yeah, well, but the wonderful thing about the World Wide Web is you can go on the internet and you can find out how to do it well. And so, we learned some things about cooking brown rice. It's very different than white rice, and so
Very different.
oh yeah, and so we were able to figure that out, and it was actually really good. It wasn't. It didn't taste. I don't know. I guess I was remembering it as a teenager, because when you're a teenager and you load up on carbs all the time anyway, and so like it's all about the simple sugars and the simple carbs, and so it was probably just like drinking Diet Coke when you're a sugar fiend. It's like, whoa, this is nasty. Well, that was kind of how I felt about brown rice as a teenager when I tried it for the first time. I was like, never again, not gonna do it. So that's actually been something that I can see that being an okay change. Like it's an okay substitution. I'm down. Like I'm not. I don't have to gag my way through it, so that's good. We just need to learn how to cook squash and zucchini.
And that, even though it says no need to refrigerate, yes, there is. Because it's a different type of squash than the squash that says no need to refrigerate.
Hey, we're learning. It'll get better.
That's one of her goals.
It just kind of hurts the pocketbook a little bit when you have to throw produce away because you didn't store it properly.
Yeah.
But so, and the kids have adjusted well to it, and getting them to understand that we're not going to spend the day just eating. And that's another thing, breakfast. So like in my job, rude. No, I'm just totally joking. But in my job, I have to leave the house pretty early in the morning with the kids, to get them off to school, and breakfast is really not usually a priority for me. I usually will, don't you judge me, but just pour some dry cereal in a sandwich bag and munch on it on the way to work.
The mom breakfast.
Yes. Because I just prioritizing breakfast was not my thing, and so I wasn't getting up and giving myself enough time to prepare anything, not even like a bowl of oatmeal or something. And occasionally I would, like, at work, be like, okay, I'll do like some oatmeal or whatever. And then, the nature of my job is you come in with a hot cup of coffee and a hot bowl of oatmeal, and then you get busy, and then you get preoccupied with something else. And then, well, it's either lunchtime and now you have cold coffee and cold oatmeal, or, you remember, oh, I had coffee and oatmeal. And then you go there and you're like, ugh, I have cold coffee, and I have cold oatmeal. And I'm sorry, you can make cold coffee work. You cannot make cold oatmeal work. No, it's not.
It becomes gruel at that point.
Yeah, it does, and it's just nasty. So then you're like, okay, well, no breakfast for me, and so you grab whatever you can get your hands on, and if it's a cookie in the break room or whatever, you start foraging for little like junk until lunchtime. And then lunch, of course, we only have 30 minutes to eat lunch. And so then sometimes you feel like you're inhaling it. And it's, and you feel like junk afterwards. So you try to pack things that are easy to eat fast. And of course, you never feel good about that after you're done. So I started making egg bowls for breakfast. It's eggs, and like half of a red potato, not even a full red potato, half of a red potato, cooked, and then a little bit of like an ounce. I only do like an ounce of taco meat. So like we keep taco meat, like it's turkey meat, it's ground turkey, with taco seasonings and stuff. In the refrigerator, and I'll just heat like an ounce of that up and put that on top to add more protein and flavor to it. And ever since I started eating that for breakfast, like, I'm not hungry, and I don't find myself craving donuts and cookies and chocolate, or whatever pastry sweet thing, because I'm not starting the day off with that sugar, and so it's easier to avoid those things, and I've actually found myself eating just to survive, or
yeah.
It's not
eat when necessary versus
I don't
eating because you're bored or because it came into the grasp, or
yeah, exactly. And like even in the afternoons, I don't even feel like I need a snack, because like lunch, and another way that we're kind of dealing with our budget is that, like, I love taco soup. I love taco soup, and it's been my favorite thing for almost 10 years now. Just love it. Once we found a recipe that we really liked, we've been making it for years, and so we just keep a pot of it in the refrigerator so that for lunch I can just throw some in a to-go bowl and heat that up for lunch, and it's got lots of protein in it and vegetables, with a little bit of carb in it. I mean, you do need to have carbs. You can't cut them out completely.
Right.
You're denying yourself.
Well, your body still has
necessary
to have
fuel, but
that fuel to burn.
But anyway, so I take taco soup, and I'm one of those people. I can eat the same thing every day, and I'm still gonna love it after 6 months of eating it. Okay, like, I'm not one that has to have change in the things that I eat. So it honestly does not bother me that I'm eating taco soup every day. Like, it really doesn't bother me at all. Like, if I'm gonna change it up, maybe I'll sprinkle a little bit of cheese on it. That's it. I mean, couple of tortilla chips. Okay, cool. But right now it just does not bother me. If it gets to a point where I'm like, oh, okay, I'm kind of burning out on the soup, then we can find something else to do. But that's kind of helped.
But it's a good Kickstarter, like a way to start the journey. Is to do something that is healthy and will help you maintain and achieve the goals you set. That's not going to blow the budget, and I mean, because of course, we could do you know, the healthy, all natural, you can pronounce everything on the label snacks, and the program food and all that, but you look at that and you end up spending, like we talked about, $800-900, $1,000 a month just for the two of us, or the three of us, when you include the daughter.
Well, our daughter and we went to see a nutritionist at the recommendation of her doctor. And this was actually a long time ago. Like, nothing came of it because, again, it came back to the whole, but buying the healthier foods cost so much more, which was kind of a cop-out response because I didn't really do my research. I didn't really look into it too well. But one of the biggest things that the nutritionist told us was when we talked about the things, because we had to go in with a food journal or whatever, and we didn't really change anything that week leading up to the visit. We didn't really change anything about our diet because we wanted to be authentic and honest, and we wanted honest feedback from the nutritionist. And so we took in our food journal, and she said, okay, she said, don't completely cut everything out. She said, cut things down. So, she noticed that we had a very carb heavy diet. That it was,
spaghetti with garlic toast.
Right, spaghetti with garlic toast, or we would have rice and corn. Yeah, rice and cornbread, or rice and corn, which, while I know that corn is not a vegetable, it's like, I don't know if it's an American thing or I don't even want to say it was the way that I was raised, because my parents never said corn was a vegetable, but it was just, you serve it like you serve a vegetable.
Oh, I mean, look at the school lunch program, and corn is one of the vegetable options, and so we are trained and taught that way in school and from an early age and everything.
Well, yeah, that's true. But she said, just instead of having two carbs, like, so if you're gonna have spaghetti, but don't eat the garlic toast. Or if you're gonna have, rice, no corn or no cornbread. Like, cut out whatever other carb you have going on in that meal, and that half your plate should be vegetables, not protein, and definitely not carbs. Like, half your plate needs to be vegetables. And so she said, the stuff that you're eating is okay. It's just the way you're structuring your plate, the way you're portioning everything. That's where you need to change, and just cutting little things out. And so my encouragement to anybody watching this that's struggling with the where do I start? Like, what fancy diet do I need to get on to get this kick started?
You don't have to.
You don't. Like, honestly, we are still eating the same things. We're preparing it a little bit different. Like, trying out different spices and stuff, because, we are cutting out protein sources that are not good for you. that are heavily processed that we kind of relied on a lot before. And in cutting those out, we had to supplement with something better, um, and
Well, and
and
another
then stay within the budget. And so we're trying to be creative.
another trap that that you can fall into is that, okay, so we bought a whole bunch of chicken, we bought a whole bunch of brown rice, and then we bought other things around it. Um, so okay, we're doing chicken and rice every night. Not, I mean, we have
We're not
we're
really.
not, we've mixed it up, but even if you have to do something like that, where you have to do chicken and rice every night, it doesn't have to be baked chicken with seasoned salt and garlic on it, and plain white rice every night. Um, you know, add a little seasoning to the rice. Change the seasonings you put on the chicken. Change the way you prepare the chicken. Like that. That's been one of the big things. Is you know, like you said, one night we did baked chicken. One night we did what we call garlic chicken, which is you know the closest thing to Chinese that we can get our kids to eat, and that's been the case for years. But and then like I said, we had the honey pepper chicken, one night. So while yes, the main the main protein source has been a repeated thing, it
It hasn't
it
felt
hasn't.
like it though.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
really hasn't. It's um but just like look at what you eat. Write down everything that you're eating for a week or two, and then just go back and look at it. And it all boils down to food pyramid. Like, I mean, it's the same food pyramid we've been staring at since we were kids, hanging up in our science classroom. No, has it changed?
it has changed, but so my healthy plate or something.org. If you go to the FDA website, they direct you to it. But they have this little guide that you can print out
Oh,
that
okay.
actually tells you, okay, like this much, 4 ounces, the size of your hand should be your protein, and then okay, half your plate should be like you were talking about with the nutritionist. Half your plate should be the vegetables, and half your and then a quarter of your plate should be your carb. Um, but it's funny. It looks like the child placemat that you would put down in front of them. But I mean it's a good thing for any of us to follow. Uh,
So I guess if you're struggling with the whole budget issue, just know that just shifting some things around, looking at the things that are not healthy and taking those out and just putting something else in its place. We thought it was going to be really hard to cut down on portion sizes, because we're not small people and we're so used to overeating, and so that was one of the things we were really afraid of. And we found that when you eat good protein, um, 4 ounces goes a long way.
yeah.
And so we were we were always very carb heavy, and I will admit we would eat white rice, or potatoes almost every day, and it would be half of our plate would be the potatoes, or half of our plate would be the rice, and then the protein would be more than a fourth of our plate, and then our vegetable would be like a spoonful of something. Like,
Yeah.
it was so upside down, so backwards, so not what it was supposed to be. Um, and then it's funny because after dinner, about 9 o'clock, we'd be like, "Man, I want something sweet to eat," and we would give in to that, and so we would do late night junk food snacking. Um, and so now, I mean, I don't know about you if you've just kind of been like ignoring it.
Well,
But I honestly have not been like, oh, I need a chocolate bar at 9, 10 o'clock at night.
well, and like the nights when I have been up later with the youngest one, um, and that thought crosses my mind. Not necessarily that I need a chocolate bar, or that and just let me grab a snack or whatever. I realize I'm not hungry. I'm doing it like
It's become a
eating out of
habit.
boredom. Eating, yeah.
I think
Eating out
it's
of
kind of
habit.
like Pavlov's dog. Like the whole ringing the bell and he salivates. I think that we have hardwired ourselves that anytime we have our technology in our hands or we're sitting in front of the TV, that we have to be eating something. And that's actually very common because I've heard other people say that before. Like,
Yeah, the mindless eating.
yeah,
It's a big thing. Like,
yeah.
Like,
So you start to associate certain activities with junk food intake. And so, and that's part of our whole farewell to lazy, the emphasis on lazy. It's not just about eating the right thing, it's also about
the thinking. Like, you've got to adjust your thinking.
changing your thinking, changing your activity. Friday after school, the 5-year-old he was very upset. He doesn't like leaving mommy's work. He wants to stay. And so I was like desperate to get him out the door because he's like screaming and throwing a fit. And I'm like, my boss is going to lose her mind if she hears him screaming in the hallway. Because I was trying to leave at like 3:45, and which I never do. I always stay till almost 6 o'clock. And so I'm trying to leave at 3:45. And he wasn't having it because he likes to stay and play at my work. And so I was like, hey, when we get home, because it was beautiful outside, I was like, hey, when we get home, we'll go to the park. How about that? And he was like, oh, yeah. And he was so excited. And he was bolting out the front door. And I was like, okay, I guess we're going to the park. And so I texted Josh. And I was like, hey, I'm heading home and we're going to the park. So when I got home, we loaded up the kids and we went to a nice little park that has a nice walking trail. And, we spent an hour just playing and walking and just being outside and just being active and, and just seeing the joy in our kids' faces and being outside.
To sitting on the couch watching.
Exactly, yeah. And the kids were so excited and they were so happy to be outside, and which of course always makes me feel like crap. It just kind of highlights how we failed our kids miserably.
Well,
but
and we took some allergy things.
We did, yes.
We made excuses and.
Yeah, we loaded up on the allergy meds before we went to the park. That's a whole nother story. But so yeah, the kids had so much fun and they were exhausted when we got home, and so we were able to fix dinner, give them baths, take them to bed, and they both fell out like and it's one of those things where you're always going to regret not being active, not getting out there and doing things with your family, or just in general, just being active. You're always going to regret not doing those things, but you're never going to regret those moments when you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to do it. And then you go do it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was fun. It was fun. So yeah, it got a little sweaty, but no big deal. Whatever.
That's why we have showers.
Right.
But all of that ties back into the goals, because every little bit of this is a stepping stone toward the larger goal. Like, of course we have that end in sight.
Mm-hmm.
Which shouldn't even be an end. It should be a lifestyle change.
And there's no expiration date on it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, we have a weight goal, which eventually if we stay the course, we will hit it. But our goals of changing our lifestyle, there's no end date on that.
No.
Right? And it's baby steps. It's baby steps. You got to take it one thing at a time. So like if you're cuz back in I don't even, it was last August. So August of 17, I was like, I'm gonna go on this really fad diet because a coworker of mine was doing it, and it had a really funny sounding name, and it sounded really easy. Like it sounded like a shortcut, basically, because I could still eat all the things that I wanted. All I had to do was just cut out the carbs, and then I paid a monthly subscription fee to an exercise program. I was like, I'm going to do this.
One time.
Not once. It was like 3. But the daughter and I got up at like 6 o'clock in the morning and we're like, we're going to do this. And so like we chose the fat girl workout, like the heavily modified, it's a bunch of chubby women in a room doing these. I'm like, psh, I got this. I can do it. I might be 30-some years old, but I don't feel like that. I feel like a 20-something year old. I could do this. Because when I was 20-something, I was able to do that. But, like, 5 minutes, it's like a 45-minute thing. 5 minutes in, my hips are hurting, and Megan's like, my knees are hurting. And I'm going, So we did it 3 times, and then we both looked at each other and were like, no, girl, I can't do it. I can't do it. And we stuck with the diet for about 3 weeks before it was like, I'm like feeling really sick, which I had done research and found that the sickness that went with this diet was normal and that it would pass. But I was like, this is miserable. Like I felt heavy inside. Like, I don't know. Like I just felt weighed down by it. Yeah, I lost 10 pounds, but as soon as I like ate a cookie, I gained 15 of it back. So I was like, no, this isn't. So I say all that to say, don't do all of it at once. Start with eating better. Start with cutting something out of your diet that you know is not good for you. So if that's sodas, if you're a Dr. Pepper fan, sorry Dr. Pepper people, I love you. All my Dr. Pepper people, I love you. But Dr. Pepper's gonna kill you. So lay off the Dr. Pepper. Maybe instead of cutting it cold turkey, instead of having 16 a day, maybe you have like 2 or 3 a week. Because then it's going to make you really appreciate that Dr. Pepper a whole lot more. Or maybe you just cut, a food that, maybe it's not the best, or cut down your portions or whatever. Just do little things at a time if you're not able or prepared to jump head first into it. Just do little things. Because I read an article about losing weight over the age of 40. No, I'm not over the age of 40. However, it's all sound advice. It's best practices for eating. And so, ooh, you like how I did that? I threw in a teacher term. But one of the things that they said was get your eating under control first before you bring in the exercise. Because if you go head first into exercise without changing your diet, you're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
You're just going to be spinning because you'd have to go hardcore working out to make up for all the junk that you're putting into your system. And so...
And was that the same article that said, you don't have to tackle exercise as, like, okay, let me get in there and do the, weight training and the super cardio muscle builder 5,000, that you start your exercise as... 30-minute walk.
Yeah, if you do no exercise, If you're, a total couch potato, then start with 30 minutes of walking, and then set little goals for yourself. Okay, so this week I'm gonna do 30 minutes a day walking. Um, then the next week maybe you do 45 minutes and just kind of bump it up in little increments.
And then you get to distance.
Yeah, now instead of, how much time I spend walking, maybe I'm going to walk for 2 miles. Or maybe you start to do like a light run, or, kind of one of those combo things, or a power walk or whatever. Like, you just kind of, you step it up until your body gets used until your body gets used to the moving. And then your body will tell you when it's ready to do something a little bit more strenuous. 10 years ago when we went through this whole weight loss journey, I started out with just eating right. And I lost 50 pounds before I ever started working out. And I will say, when I started working out, my weight loss slowed down. But I lost like 24 inches. So, it kind of, losing inches is good because I'm already kind of, we won't go there. But, so yeah, set those little goals for yourself. Don't overwhelm yourself. I feel like if I didn't have
baby steps, do. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought you were gonna keep going. I was all excited. But just make those little baby steps, and I feel like if I didn't have Josh doing this with me, it would be a lot harder. And so I get it. I get how hard this can be. Find a support system. Talk to the people that you work with. Get them on board. Get them excited about it. Get them doing it with you. Because when you have an account,
surprised how many people that you're already surrounded by want to make a change too, but they feel the same way you do.
Exactly. And accountability buddies are great to have and pick somebody that is not going to fluff your feathers and tell you whatever you want to hear. Like, pick somebody that is going to be like, no, you don't need to eat that. It's not worth it. Somebody that's going to be like, I know that you are tired, but you need to put your tennis shoes on and you're going to the track with me. Let's go. Find somebody that can hold you accountable and truly hold you accountable. It's amazing what just stating, like, I'm going to do this, like telling people that you're doing it. It's amazing how that can motivate somebody to actually follow through, because nobody wants to disappoint people.
And nowadays, if you've got a smartwatch, an Apple Watch, or a Google Wear Watch or whatever, there's so much gamification. You can compete on goals.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah,
we need to look into that.
Like, see who can complete their circle, or who can get the most beyond their circle completed. And that can even be somebody that doesn't even live near you. You can join groups and friends and stuff for free, well, for the cost of the watch or whatever. But I know Fitbit does it. I know Apple does it. I know there's apps on Android that do it. That you can join a community without paying anything extra beyond the watch that you already want. You want it. I mean, come on, we all want it, right?
I do,
because it's the hot new thing. Anyway, join the group, or your best friend that lives across the country from you now. You can still compare side by side to see who actually completed their circle and everything.
That sounds like fun. I like that. it's amazing what social media and the internet and just these devices in general can offer you that even 10 years ago we didn't have this stuff available to us. And so, or at least, maybe it wasn't widely known about. And so that's really cool that, I hate to say it, but really we have no excuses anymore. Like, there's no excuse.
And the devices keep you honest. Because, of course, you can always say, oh, yeah, I did that, But having the devices, that adds that level of accountability because
it's going to call you a liar if you ain't doing what you're supposed to do.
And I say the watch. I know some people out there screaming, "Oh, my phone will do that. My phone will do that too." But how many times you set your phone down and then do something?
Oh yeah,
and the phone's not tracking.
Yeah, my phone spends more time on my desk than in my pocket, mainly because I wear leggings and I never have pockets. So, but yeah. So anyway. Find your accountability something, whether it's...
Set the small goal
yes.
to reach the big goal.
Find somebody that'll hold you accountable. Set some big goals and then some small goals to help you get there. And don't bite off more than you can chew. Sorry, that was not intentional. Anyway, but don't bite off more than you can chew in this journey. Take it one step at a time. It's think of it as a marathon. It's not a sprint. So it's going to take some time. There's all the quick fixes. I don't feel like they yield the healthy results that a lifestyle change is going to give you. So
quick fix is just as quickly undone.
So it's taking just commit to it, and of course, as always, we are here for you. We will be a part of your support system, and if you have any questions or advice, of course, we don't know all the answers. We are just simply sharing with you what we have discovered on our own over the last couple of weeks, and just common sense things that we've always known but never followed through on. But of course, if you have questions or any advice, you can leave a comment below, or you can email us at farewelltolazy@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter, also under Farewell to Lazy.
And it is spelled out.
Farewell to T-O, Lazy. We are getting good at that, baby. Anyway, so reach out to us. Remember, we are here for you, and we love you, and hope that this journey is successful and that you feel good about yourself in the end. All right.
Bye.
Bye.